I'm Laura and welcome back to my channel. Today I wanted to go over my inventory numbers with you guys because I've been meaning to for a while and I just haven't been able to get to it. The numbers I'm going to be talking about today are actually my 2020 inventory numbers, and these numbers I added up I believe in late October, November of 2020, so it's a lot later in the year than I would have normally done my inventory. So yeah. I just wanted to get these figures up before I did my collection overview videos and did an update of my 2021 inventory, just to kind of keep you guys up to date. So because these numbers are taken a lot later in the year than normal, this is technically around an 18 months ish sort of change from my 2019 figures to my 2020 figures. So there are some big jumps, which, unless you take that time period into account, aren't very easy to explain. Over a year period, it sounds like a lot, but over an 18 months to 2 year period, you can kind of explain it away, I suppose. But anyways, let's get on in. My first category is primers. In 2019, early 2019, I had 14 primers. In late 2020, I had 25 primers. Now, even taking into account the time span between those two figures, I still can't fathom how that happened. It went up by 11 primers, and I don't know how. I picked up a few from Avon in 2019, and I've picked up a few from Makeup Revolution along the way, but apart from that, I don't understand where these 11 primers have come from. I honestly don't know. So it'll be interesting to have my collection overview and lay everything out and be able to see all 25 of them, or however many there are now. There could be more, there could be less, we don't know yet. Foundation. In early 2019, I had 58 foundations, which is already a lot. In late 2020, that went up to 74 foundations. And I know some of that came from my amalgamating my makeup artistry stash into my own stash, and I also bought a lot of foundation during that long period from Makeup Revolution. I did. No denying that. But that is a lot. 74 foundations. So we'll see where we are this year. And yeah. We're going to want to start tackling that, I suppose. Concealers. In early 2019, I had 22 concealers. Just considering previous years, I've had a lot more than that. That's not too bad. But in late 2020, that went up to 37. Again, I know a lot of that came from Makeup Revolution. I love concealer, apparently. Concealer just gets me. It gets me. Next, we have pressed powder. In early 2019, I had 3 pressed powders. In 2020, I had 5, and I know some of those actually came out of a declutter pile. I did a declutter in late 2018 or during 2018, and I never, I didn't get rid of it for a while. It sat in a drawer, and I eventually started pulling things out of the declutter pile, so I know that's where 2 of those powders came from. And that could explain where some of the other products came from. But let's not dwell. Loose powders. In early 2019, I had 17 loose powders. which it's remained about steady there for a few years. So that's not a huge number for me. In 2020, it went up to 22 loose powders, which is a lot, but I understand where those came from. There were a couple from Makeup Revolution that I picked up. Definitely at least 2 from Makeup Revolution that I picked up. I don't know about the rest though. Maybe I pulled something out of the declutter pile. Who knows? So that's it for base products for the moment. There's something else at the bottom that I hadn't added before, and that is setting sprays. I never used to count setting sprays because I never had more than 1 or 2 at a time. I now currently have, at the time of doing this counting, I had 11. I know I have less than that now, but still, I had 11. From going from almost none to 11. For cream blush, I did have 3, and that went up to 5. I think one was from my my makeup artistry stash, and I think another one might actually be a lipstick that got smooshed, so I count it as a cream blush now. Powder blush, in early 2019, I had 54. In 2020, that went up to, no, if you're drinking something, swallow it. That went up to 112 because I started counting individual pans. So instead of just counting packaging, I started counting pans. So if I had a bronzer blush duo, I counted that pan of bronzer, because until recently I didn't know where to put these mixed duo things. So I started counting individual pans, and I have a palettes that have like 10 or 12 blushes in them. So instead of just counting that as one product or not counting it in my inventory in total, I started counting individual pans. Same with my MAC blushes in palettes. I started counting the individual pans. So these blushes probably already existed in my collection. I just didn't know where to place them, therefore they weren't accounted for in my inventories. But yeah, I did pick up a few blushes, I'm pretty sure. Definitely not enough to double my figures, but I did pick up blushes. So yeah, that is a staggering spike, staggering increase, but also very explainable and reasonable once explained. And again, there was the amalgamation of things from my makeup artistry kit as well. Onto cream bronzer, I did have 1 in early 2019. That went up to 2 in 2020 because I moved something from my blush stash to cream bronzer because that's how I use it. Next we have powder bronzers. In early 2019 I had 13 bronzers, and in 2020 that went up to 30. Again, counting individual pans, amalgamating things in from my makeup artistry collection, one of those being a sort of bronzer contour palette thing. And then there are the bronzers that I bought. And I did buy quite a few bronzers. Not even gonna lie, I did. Liquid highlight, in early 2019 I had 13, and in 2020 that went up to, late 2020 that went up to 19. So a 6 product increase over that almost 2-year period isn't excessive. It's not an awful lot, but at the same time I wasn't using the products, so I didn't have a chance to minimize that either. And again, that does involve cream highlights, so like my cream color base from MAC that were in my makeup artistry kit, they're included in this too. Powder highlight, oh gosh guys, oh gosh. In early 2019, there were 24 powder highlights. In late 2020, that went up to 78. Again, counting individual pans, I'm almost certain I pulled highlights out of a declutter pile. And of course, I did buy some. I did buy some. So yeah, 78 pounds of powder highlight. It's a lot. That is a lot. And I know that's going to be higher this year. I know it is, because I bought backups of all my favourite Becca highlights earlier this year. So it's yeah. God. Next we have the mascara category, which in early 2019 was at 13, and in late 2020 rose up to 25. And I know that's not necessarily an accurate number either. Some of that was not necessarily amalgamation from my makeup artistry kit, but leftover stock from my Avon, because as I've explained before, I was a fairly successful Avon rep actually. I don't feel any shame in saying that I was a fairly successful Avon rep. But I bought stock for doing fairs and festivals during 2020, and then, you know, everything happened. So I'm now kind of stuck with that stock. And a lot of that was mascara. So I know that number will be higher because I still haven't added all of that mascara stock. I did find a few, maybe a dozen or so more tubes stashed away. But that doesn't mean I don't need to buy mascara for the next 6 years. You know, it's fine. Silver lining and all that. But I know that's not an accurate figure at 25. I know it's going to be higher. Eyeliner pencils in early 2019 were at 36, and that rose up to 64 in late 2020. Yeah, I'm not sure how that happened. I think it might have been picking up new releases from Avon. They released special edition colours that I kind of wanted. But hey ho, I'm working my way through those ever so slowly. Cream and liquid liner in early 2019 were 8. In late 2020, that went up to 23, which is a big jump. A big jump. That is a jump of, quick maths, 15 liquid gel liners. I got some from Inglot. I picked up some from Avon. I got some from I got liner pens from Avon, pot gel liners as well. So yeah, it is what it is. I'll work my way through them. Shadow pencils, cream shadow 6. In early 2019, I had 32, which is already a huge number. By late 2020, that went up to 52, which again, that's quite a big number. I did pick up a bunch from Avon when they did a release, but I also accidentally ended up with a double order, so I think that's where most of those came from. I also think I might have pulled some out of a declutter pile. I think I pulled some NYX ones back out because I couldn't bear to part with them. But here's a category that stayed the same. My cream shadows. Those are little pot shadows, color tattoos or MAC paint pots. In early 2019, I had 15, and in late 2020, I also had 15. So at least I stayed the same in one category. Loose shadow. In early 2019, I had 45. By late 2020, I had 48. And I think this might be specifically 3 NYX loose shadows that eluded inventory in previous years. Because both 2018 and 2019 I had 45 loose shadows, but I know I've owned those NYX shadows since before we moved here, and that's the only thing I can think, because I haven't bought any other loose shadows or acquired any, so that's the only solution I can think of. Single shadows, by which I mean the ones that come in their own individual packaging, in early 2019 I had 105, and that went down to 97 in late 2020, and I don't know how, because I didn't finish any and I didn't declutter any, so I don't know. I just don't know. The only thing I can think is I was counting some depotted NYX shadows as still being in the single shadow category, and I didn't count them that way this time. That's the only change I can think is possible. Next up we have brow products, which in early 2019 I had 14, which is a little bit of an increase to my usual a steady 10. And then in late 2020 that went up to 34. That's a lot. Again, I picked up a bunch from Avon. I had a bunch from Makeup Revolution, pomades, brow mascaras, the like. Again, I am working my way through those, so I'm not too concerned about how high that number is, because brow products is something that I go through. Like, I buy brow products a lot, and I go through them a lot, so it's not a huge concern area for me. Now we are on to lip products. Lip liner in early 2019 I had 75, and that went up to 89 in late 2020. Again, I can only think that was picking up new launches from Avon. They did their own like Mark Pro lip liner that was supposed to be like long wear lip liners. I can only think that's what boosted that number by that much. Because I think there were about 14 shades in that range. Liquid lips, anything that might be a liquid lipstick, a lip lacquer, longwear lip color, whatever you want to call them. In early 2019 I had 43, and in late 2020 that went up to 93, an increase of 50. What on earth? What was I thinking? Again, I think that's probably mostly Avon products. They had these Marc liquid lipsticks that I really enjoy, and they came out with their Power Lips, which I really like. I think I probably included the powder lip products in that too. That's the only thing I can think of. They're these long wear liquid powder lip products. It's the only thing I can think. Next we have lip gloss, which in early 2019 I had 8 lip glosses, and in late 2020 I had 20 lip glosses. Again, I can almost put most of that down to Avon. I had lip glosses that were from excess gifts with purchase that I was going to use as stall stock, which are now amalgamated in my collection, and a few lip glosses from my makeup artistry kit as well. Lipstick. In early 2019 I had 201 lipsticks. In late 2020 that was up to 280 lipsticks, and again, some of that is from my makeup artistry kit, some of that is stall stock, and others are from collection releases from Avon that I was interested in trying. Mostly probably in the 2019 period, because I didn't purchase a whole lot of lip products in 2020. And I know that for a fact. Then we have lip crayons, which in early 2019 I had 21 lip crayons, and in late 2020 that stayed the same at 21 lip crayons. So I have 2 categories in total that have stayed the same. I did also add 3 categories to my inventory. I've added the setting spray category, which I've mentioned. I've also started counting my total eye palettes. I had, in late 2020, I had 129 eyeshadow palettes, and that's counting everything from duos upwards, duos to the big massive ones. But that's only pre-made palettes. I do also have a total shadow pan count. So before I give you the total shadow pan count, I'll give you the total product count, if that makes sense. So from primers all the way down to pre-made eyeshadow palettes, I went from, so in 2019, I had a grand total of 827 products in my makeup collection. And in late 2020, that went up to 1,410 products. I mean, even if you deduct the setting spray and the eyeshadow palettes that I didn't normally tally, that's still quite an increase of almost 500 items, give or take. No, not 500. About 400. 400. It's about an increase of about 400 items-ish. But yeah, that's a lot. And as I say, I now count total shadow pans, so that I can include all of my shadow singles, depotted products, my MAC shadows, all of that. So I counted all the shadow pans in my pre-made palettes, all the single shadows that come in their own packaging, and shadow singles that are in palettes. And that came to a grand total of 2,578 eyeshadows. I actually got the idea to count the shadow pans from, I think it was Lauren May Beauty. I think she did it like 4 or 5 years ago. She went and counted all of her pans of eyeshadow to count how many she had. And I thought, well, that'd be a groundbreaking idea. Because it kind of also gives a more encapsulated idea of how much eyeshadow you own, because you can say, oh, you have this many shadow singles, you have this many single shadows, you have this many palettes, but when you can count all the pans together, it's a very eye-opening number. So that is how my collection has grown from early 2019 to late 2020. I have since purchased a fair amount of products over the course of 2021. So my 2021 inventory is going to be interesting, very interesting. And I will have my product collection overviews coming up, so you'll be able to see everything, and then there will be a final updated inventory at the end of that series. So yeah, I hope you enjoy the show. Thank you guys for watching this video. I feel okay about these increases in things, especially when I actually think about where the products and the increases came from. It still doesn't take away the shock of going from 54 blushes to 112 blushes. That's yeah. But yes, it's all about being accountable, being aware, and keeping it in front of your face. And yeah, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye bye.